Today, I want to talk about the greatest author that you've never heard of, Robert Anton Wilson. He is slowly becoming one of my favorites, and the more I read of him, the more fascinated I am. And the basic crux of his work is everyone sees things differently, and when we explore consciousness, this is where we can explore the potential of the human species, of the human race. A lot of his things are science fiction. He writes a lot of fiction. He also writes a lot of philosophy. He writes some more pseudo-scientific stuff, and it's just so fascinating, so interesting. And the basic idea, the overarching concept of his beliefs is when you believe in something, that means that you stop thinking. When you believe in something, that means you stop questioning it. When you stop questioning it, you stop rationally evaluating it and seeing different perspectives, and you lock yourself into one reality tunnel, as he would say. And the idea of reality tunnel is very interesting because if you want to see the differences in between different individuals and how they view the world, simply ask them to describe the same object. Simply ask them to describe the same door frame. Like if me and my girlfriend, who's over there watching me film right now, she loves watching me film these videos, but if we were to describe the same door, I'm telling you, it would align 99% the same. And because it seems the same for the most part, we would have the same quote unquote description, the same observation. But the truth is, I'm going to use different words as she's going to use different words. And these different words, while they might coincide, there's still that 1% difference. And this 1% difference, extrapolated out to the rest of our worlds, creates an entirely different perspective. And we start viewing things like this, then we can start understanding why so many people disagree, why we can never seem to agree on any single issue, why, even if you have someone like Nietzsche, they put out their beliefs, people are still going to say, no, your logic is flawed here. You don't believe this because then this ruins this. Like this is where a lot of human differences come from. And it's so interesting to see this because most of what influences our worldview is what we were imprinted in as a child. And a great book on this is called Prometheus Rising. This is probably my favorite book by Robert Anton Wilson. The entire idea of this is there are set times in your life when you're imprinted with certain ideas, and you can tell where someone was imprinted most heavily based off of what they experience. So like people that are very, very logically based, they are imprinted on a set circuit. People that are very emotionally based, they're imprinted on a set circuit. And a lot of it has to do with your upbringing. A lot of it has to do with childhood. A lot of it has to do with the culture that you are in. And, it's very interesting when he breaks down these things en masse because you can see how the individual differences influence the world in which we live today. The book I just finished by him today is called Cosmic Trigger, and one of the overarching ideas of Cosmic Trigger is that of human consciousness expanding and human longevity expanding. And it's very interesting because he was writing these things. I think he died in 2007. He was writing these things in the 80s and 90s. This is when he was more popular, but the overall basis of the book is that we are seeing a change in humanity. We are seeing a change in the way we view things. And, as UFO sightings become more and more popular, as people are seeing these things more and more, like it almost coincides with the same thing that was happening during the rise of Christianity. Like instead of seeing UFOs, instead of seeing demons, instead of seeing all of these things, people were seeing images of Jesus. And it's almost interesting because this is something that Jung said as well. Jung said that like the UFO phenomena is merely the same occurrence as the Christian images that people were seeing back in the day that were causing them to convert, that were causing them to go out and do these crusades and do these things. And it seems like we're living in a time where we hear about these things more and more and more. Look on the news, UFOs are becoming more and more popular. And, what is this phenomena? And he really explores these ideas. And, the greatest thing about Robert Anton Wilson is he's a skeptic about everything. That is something I love about him. His basic worldview is that I don't believe in anything because when I start believing in something, that means I stop thinking. And when I stop thinking, I might as well be brain dead. When you lock yourself into a set reality, you don't see the bigger picture. You are only as good as your tools of observation, and your tools of observation are inherently biased because there's too much stimulus in this world that distract us from absolutely everything around us. I think I gave you a good introduction to Robert Anton Wilson. The one I would say to start with is Prometheus Rising because I think it's his best. I'm soon going to read the Illuminatus trilogy. I'm super interested in that, and we'll see the books that I start to recommend that I start to put very high. But I think overall, a lot of his ideas are very interesting. He also has a lot of interviews on YouTube that, if you want to get an introduction to his ideas, they're a great place to start. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Peace out. I will catch you in the next one.